Day 98. And we are continuing on this amazing adventure, that we are doing together. The 260 challenge, reading the 260 chapters in the New Testament, a chapter a day until the end of the year. You are doing this. You're winning. Just keep going. Acts chapter 9. Welcome, Saul. We have seen bad Saul previously, and right here, Saul is still breathing threats against the church. And the Bible here speaks about the way, the followers of Jesus. They were called disciples. Later on, they were called Christians. They were, at the time, called followers of the way. Luke writes, calls them saints in this chapter, all different descriptions for this saint group. He's heading to Damascus, about 200 kilometers away from Jerusalem. And on the way to Damascus, he meets Jesus. He meets him in a really powerful way. He is blinded. He doesn't eat for 3 days. God speaks to a man in Damascus in the street called Straight. Apparently, that street is still in Damascus. You can go to the street called Straight in Damascus and go see if you find Ananias' house. It's probably buried a couple of layers deep under the ruins. God speaks to Ananias and he says to Ananias, I want you to go to Saul. And Ananias is skeptical because he knows about the Saul, but he obeys God. And he goes and he prays for Saul. And as he prays for Saul, Saul receives the Holy Spirit. Saul is baptized in the Holy Spirit. And then he stands up and he is baptized in water. And Saul becomes a preacher. The persecutor becomes the preacher. He has to flee Damascus. They want to kill him. He was going around killing others. Now he's on the receiving end. The tables have turned and he heads to Jerusalem. He arrives in Jerusalem and there the disciples and the apostles, they are all running away from this Saul guy who was creating havoc in the church earlier, who was there when they killed Stephen. And Barnabas, remember Barnabas, the guy who a couple of chapters ago sold land, brought it to the disciples, that same Barnabas, he takes Paul, and he brings Saul to the apostles. He become Paul later on. I'm just confusing myself here. And then there is peace in the churches, in Judea, in Galilee, and in Samaria, a time of rest, a time of peace for the church. Don't forget Peter, the other apostle. He is still busy doing miracles, carrying on what Jesus did. He heals the lame, he raises the dead, and the ministry of Jesus is continuing in the life of the church.